Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
One Outs, episode 22. Wiretaps.
Bugs!
Yes,
Everywhere.
bugs everywhere. Not the bugs. How do we get past this?
We can't.
Yeah, I mean, we can't, kind of. If we do, how do we make it so that it's something that's a conflict that'll fill an entire episode and not just be like, okay, so we figured our way around it and now we're done. It's a binary thing and no problems anymore. Who knows?
It's cheating at this point. Toa just surprise
cheaters.
us at this point, because bruh, like,
or shock us.
too much.
Just make it be so outlandish that we're just
Yes.
like, oh, that's going a bit far even for you.
yeah,
You know.
and that's what we would like, personally. So, good luck.
Good luck.
And y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
奴らの闇信号に反映されてるのさ。
一体どこに？
目立った動きをするな。悟られるぞ。
しかし、
I
盗聴されてるとなると、
wouldn't,
ベンチ内のあちこちに盗聴器が
which means they'd hear this conversation.
自分たちのホームグラウンドから盗聴器が見つかるようなことがあれば大問題になるからな。
Right.
盗聴器はせいぜい一つか二つ。それも見つかる可能性が限りなくゼロの方法で仕掛けられているはずだ。
Okay, so don't even try to find them.
ましてや選手たちはグラウンドに向かって声を張り上げ
Right,
て
there'd
る
be
ことが多い。
plenty of background noise.
そんな中、一つや二つの盗聴器で作戦を盗聴するなんて無理がないか。
そうでもない。
ん？
たとえどんな方法で伝達されようとも一つだけ共通していることがある。だったら一つの盗聴器で
Standing?
監督の周囲の音声を拾うだけでいい。
確かに。
Okay.
みんなここからサインはパターン
But this also needs to be able to work for every team that comes through here, so...
Well, they're always going to be in the same dugout, Jacob. Like,
Right, but will the manager be in the same spot?
most likely.
Okay.
そう監督に限って言えば意外と不可能なことじゃない。なぜなら監督はベンチ入りしてるメンバーの中で最も
Yep.
動かない人間だからな。
くそ、
何する気だ。
決まってるだろ。盗聴器を探し出す。
言っただろう。簡単に見つかるような仕掛け方する。
Yeah, we should start devising the plan of how we counteract this.
今度は大丈夫だ。盗聴器からは離れた場所で指示を出したからな。
Okay.
宇宙間真っ二つ7点目これでブルーマーズなんと8連続ヒット
Jesus.
また読まれた。どうして？どういうことなんだ？監督を動かしてもパターン変更を読まれてる。徳地が追い詰められてる。初めてだ。あの徳地が
He's losing.
次の手を打てずにいる。負けるのか。俺たちはただこのままボロボロにやられるだけなのか。
徳地の指示で三原はさらに違う場所にコーチ及び選手たちを集めた。
あ？
What?
なぜ監督を動かしても盗聴されたのか。そして盗聴器が仕掛けられている場所もな。
Okay.
Someone that can
Don't
read
leave us in
lips.
suspense.
おーっとなんでしょう三塁側リカオンズベンチ練習用のボールが散乱しています
Wait.
タイム何やってるんだ君試合中だぞ
ああ、すみませんね。うっかり。
Yeah, totally an accident.
集まってもらったのは他でもない。監督がまたサインパターンを変えるとのことだ。
なんで監督が驚くんですか
だがパターンをただ変えても効果がないので、パターンの変化自体を変えてみる。今度はカウントの合計によって変化させる。合
But if
計が
they figured out the
4、
strike
もしく
thing,
は
they'll
5の
probably
場
figure
合
this
は
out too.
そこから3を引く。カウント合計が4なら3を引いて残りは
But-
1でパターン。
He's figured out the way that they're being wiretapped, quote unquote, and I don't think it's typical wiretapping.
Okay.
It's something else.
今サインパターンの変更を指示した場所はその前に監督が指示した場所と同じ。
Yeah.
なのにこの流れを止めるって。
ノーカウントだからパターンは3だ。
ストライク
Oh shit! Wait, he's got it. Wait, what is it then?
連中今度は読めなかったようだなそもそも監督の立ち位置を変えてもサインパターンを読まれたのはなぜだと思う
やはり盗聴器が複数仕掛けてあるんじゃ。
There are no
だったら今の
wiretaps.
パターン変更だって読まれてたはずだ盗聴器は一つだそしてそれは監督の声を確実に拾えかつ見つかりにくい場所に仕掛けられている
無理だろう。一個の盗聴器で動き回る監督の声を拾うなんて。
盗聴器も一緒に
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
どうやってまさかまさかこのベンチ内に
Yeah.
盗聴器を持っている人間が。
Yeah. It's the guy.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
brown-haired guy. Yeah.
Right.
チームにスパイなんて潜り込ませないでも部外者でいつも近くにいるやつがいるだろうが
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
ボールボーイ。
Wow.
監督
No
が常に立っているあの
way.
場所はボールボーイの待機場所からわずか数メートルあいつら大した用もないのに雑用を装って二度ともメンバーの輪のすぐ
That
外に
seems like it would
しゃが
be
んでいる
really obvious.
おそらく服の下にでも小型マイクを隠してるんだろう
クソ。
早まるなって
何？
仮に盗聴器が見つかったとしてそれがブルーマーズの指示だという証拠はない
ボールボーイが？秀口、声抑えろ。
Holy shit.
They should
Okay.
really be writing these conversations by now.
やられた分はきっちり返す
いいか、狙い球を絞っていけ。このままじゃ舐められっぱなしだからな。狙い球はストレートだ。いいなみんな。変化球は捨てるんだ。絶対にダメよ。
さてと向こうは完全に繊維
I like that we're finally getting their
今日は完封
perspective.
狙っちゃおうかな
Right.
みんな点を取ったからって気を抜くな。
向こうはストレート狙いで来るぞ。徹底してカーブで攻めろ。
わかりましたいつも情報産休です
だが実質ベンチ内の命令系統の中心にあるのはこのヘッドコーチ
Yeah.
白岡隆バガブーズ白岡監督の弟でこのトリックスタジアムの
There he is.
All right.
2つ続けてカーブだったんで次は絶対ストレートだ。次のストレートを見逃すなって今度にサイン出しといて。はい、わかりました。
ピッチャー白髪第3球投げた打った打球はライトの頭を越えた
嘘。指示通りのカーブだったのに。
中継挟んでサード
A triple? Holy shit!
ス
Damn.
リーベースヒッ
Okay.
ト
今度の勝手な判断か。
ひょっとして白髪疲れてきてカーブが甘くなってきてるんじゃないですか
おう、なら早打ちはせず粘るようにしろ。ならこっちは遊び玉なしで初球からカウントを取りに行く。
ピッチャ
Telling
ー投げ
convincing
た
lies.
おっと初球スクイズバッテリーこ
All
れは
right.
読んでなかった
Oh shit!
What?
セーフ
Yep. Easy.
Okay.
Easy.
どうなってるんだこれ。
簡単なことさ盗聴されてる監督と選手の意思を
Right, right, right.
Yep.
さっき監督とコーチ以外の全員にこのメモを回した
Ignore whatever he says.
今の打席コーチのサインは初球待てだったそれを俺は3アップというスライドサインで初球スクイズにしたのさ
そうか。
Wow.
打者はそれが三原監督の指示だと思って。
特地の作戦は的中した。リカオンズはこの
Then just picks up the bat casually.
ヒットが出るたびに不満と怒りを口にする三原の声を聞く限り
Oh.
明らかにサインの連携ミスとしか思わざるを得ないのである。
あいつ俺のサイン無視して初球打ちやがった。
ダメですよ成功した時は見逃してやれないと
And they can buy it as a thing of where it's like the coach and the players have disconnected because of the signs being so bad, you know?
今や試合の
But they also had the camera guy
手の
that
中にあった
and the drum and all that.
追われることを恐れるなこの後こっちが点を取ればいい
相手より多く点を取れば試合は勝てるんだ。はい、
打った当たりは大きい。ランナー二塁を回った。
Shit. Safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
先頭打者高槻いきなりスリーベースヒット。
4番ファーストロドリゴ。
おっとここでバッターは
Okay.
主砲ロドリゴの登場で。
It's crazy, but people would actually practice swing with those weights on.
ここで三原監督動きます。
Oh.
Okay.
ピッチャー西岡をファーストに、ほんでもってピッチャー交代。
Yep.
口だわ。
There we go.
西岡をファ
And
ースト
since
に入れたってことは
Toa's already set up the change in signs and everything, he doesn't need to do anything from the dugout.
Nope. Nope. It's over.
そうこだ。
Okay, getting the owner again.
ヤスが出てこなくては。
Oh yeah, we gotta see what this is.
Yeah.
トクチ連投で疲れたお前などロドリゴの一発で沈めてやるよ。
確かに
Sure thing, dude.
俺は連投で疲れている。余計な球など一球も投げたくない。だからこいつは3球で終わらせてやる。
Yep, get in his head, get in his head.
Uh-huh.
さあ注目の第1球投げた。
Swing. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, scary. Now the dreaded third pitch.
Uh-huh.
He's already won.
Yep.
Oh no, is he gonna rush the mound? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I was worried the coach was gonna have him like literally be paid to go and like
Uh-huh.
hurt
Break
Toa,
his arm
you know?
or something.
やってろやってろ。いい気になってマウンドに上がったのが運の尽き。罠にはまってるとも知らずにな。
ブルーマーズが仕組んだトリックスタジアムへの反撃に出た徳地東亜だがその前にはさらなる卑劣な罠が待ち受けている。
So much. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Okay.
it's not that they're necessarily been wiretapped in the dugout, because that would be easy for it to be discovered eventually over
And
the
then
course
the
of many
whole
games.
stadium would be a problem. And
Yep.
Yep.
Nope. Because all the players are involved in this, you just have some of the ball boys nearby just have really powerful mics. That then you don't have to worry about whether or not you're picking out specific things. In fact, they could even be directional mics where it's
Yep.
specifically pointed at them there.
Now, the problem with this is then you have a very obvious ploy being made by people on the other team that are getting close to the person who's talking about the sensitive information, so you'd think that would be spotted pretty quickly.
But no.
But no.
No. I don't think that would be spotted quickly in the real world either.
Yeah.
I think that it's the kind of thing where primarily because the players are involved in this, they have every motivation and reason to do it perfectly. So you
Sure.
would never have this be spotted. But the idea of them wiretapping the dugout does seem like the kind of thing that would be stretching reality a bit. So I'm actually kind of glad that it's not the dugout that's wiretapped.
Right.
Because that's just kind of boring. But also reinforcing the idea that all the players involved in this are dirty, I think is also a little bit more exciting, because then it means that all these players are very much reliant on the cheating. They're very much involved in it. There's very much a chain link of sorts between all of them that will drag them all down if one end of the chain gets
Absolutely.
attached to a heavy weight that's going down into the water.
But it's also something where then it is a way to build up that once they figure out the cheating, they will win the game.
Yeah.
Because theoretically, if you had a team that was practicing and they didn't realize that they were cheating,
Right.
then they, once the cheating stops working, okay, they'll be not quite as good because they're not getting the best direction or whatever, but it would be a bit more of a stretch for them to completely fall apart.
Right.
But since they're all in on it together, heavily relying on it, okay.
Yeah. And the fact that Toa now comes in on the pitching side of things should stop them from getting or giving up any more points.
Right.
But of course, Toa couldn't come into pitch until the 8th inning.
And that is
really because he did pitch a freaking ridiculous amount.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
And that is probably the element of this that I liked the most as far as explanation for why it's getting dragged out, because since Toa can kind of just like keep the other team from scoring points, the question is why don't they do that earlier? Well, Toa has to figure out this whole cheating thing. Cool. Okay. Yeah. That is a reason then why the Lycaons are motivated to not have Toa in the game until then.
It's nothing to do with that. And that's part of it, but it's also the idea that he can't literally pitch for that many innings. He physically can't do it. I think that's the point that they were making, was that he actually physically couldn't pitch 9 innings. Like,
sure.
Is that not what you're saying, or
no?
No. Okay.
No. Yes, he would be tired from previous games. But
right.
We've seen him pull some crazy shit before. Just that if he's on the pitching mound, he's not going to be thinking about how to figure out how they're cheating.
Well, no, because he wouldn't be on the pitching mound during the batting side of things. So he could still. During the batting side of things, he actually would be in the dugout. He would be able to spend a lot of time during that part of it as well.
There's 2 sides to the cheating. There's the cheating with the offense and the defense, right? When they are up to bat, right, their defense is able to respond a lot better to the way that they bat. Right. When the reverse is true, they are able to respond much better to the pitches that are being thrown because they are knowing what pitches are being thrown.
No, totally. But I think mechanically they were implying that he couldn't have pitched up until now because he had pitched too much. Like he would actually have pitched too much. And in order for them to bring Toa in, that would be something where he would have to maybe overstep his bounds with the manager to be like,
right,
bring me in and just make me pitch the whole game.
Because the previous game was the one where he pitched like 15 innings.
Yeah,
or something.
He pitched a ridiculous amount.
Right.
So he just literally can't do it. He's still a human being. His brain is not human, but his physical body still is required to do this. But this is, honestly, Jacob, I resonate with you. This is honestly the problem of making a rule of cool protagonist, that you don't really have a good grasp of how to handle the pacing of a rule of cool protagonist. Because this show has drastically slowed down the pacing to unbearably slow levels.
Right, like even when in the past, I think the pace that has been more or less established is that each series will be like 5 episodes, and I think that's been what it's been for the previous series, like fairly consistently. It might have been less, but like okay, yeah. So that way you can get kind of like a setup. You can maybe have like 1 episode for the first episode and then 2 episodes for each of the games after, right? 1 episode for the first episode, but yeah. Whereas here it's like okay, we know the situation. Toa has kind of worked his way past it. We are still in the game, even though we know that given that it's this late, they kind of have to pull like an overwhelming victory in order to make the comeback. And yet then at the end of the episode, it's like, but the BlueMars still have tricks up their sleeve. And it's like,
no,
I don't think so.
I don't buy it anymore.
Right.
It's the kind of thing where the tricks are not actually the BlueMars. It's the owner. And that is the one that we're actually genuinely potentially worried about.
Yeah.
Because we're coming up on the end of the season. So from a meta perspective, we're not worried about BlueMars. We're like, no, there's literally 2 innings left. The game's going to be over.
Is someone, like you were saying, is one of the batters going to rush the mound?
I was
and
really
break
worried
his arm,
for a second there. Rodrigo was like swinging there and they were putting emphasis on the bat. And I'm like, oh shit, is he going to like pull some shit here? Because they could get him thrown out of the game for sure. But Rodrigo going in there and maybe even being paid by the owner to be like, no, I need you to go and break one of his arms.
Yep. Specifically his pitching arm, maybe. You know, and then it's like, okay, yeah, sure.
There'd be nothing really Toa could do to stop him. Toa isn't like randomly going to bust out his martial arts skills, which he could. But.
Although maybe it's something where like if that were to happen, then the umpire would be able to make the decision of like, no, you're not pitching. Like even if they're like, we're going to keep this injured guy on the field, it's like, no, that's
fucking stupid.
Yeah. you go get off the field,
Right, in the same way that Toa kind of just did a cat thing and knocked over some practice balls, and the umpire was like, "What the hell? We're playing a game.
Yeah.
What
are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Ball on the field. That's not the ball that's in the pitcher's hands.
Right. Even though it was not like in the inside the
nope.
The lines,
No, because it's on green. So
it's on green, so therefore it's a problem,
Stop that immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, this episode basically gave us a nice twist that it was not a classic wiretapping. It was the other team putting their players into a specific position where they could overhear what was going on. I totally buy technology-wise that microphones would be capable of doing that.
Right.
But whether or not they would then be able to have maybe like then, all this tricks basically with how they would, mess up the signs and stuff to then have them be able to score enough points with it, maybe.
Right. It's something where I liked some of the thought processes that were coming up for them to be like, okay, wait, this wouldn't work because of this reason. There's a lot of noise in the dugout, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not just going to be able to have a random wiretap in there and pick up specific things that someone's saying.
Right, especially one that, is supposedly super well hidden. It would
Right.
need to be a little bit more obvious so you get a clear,
Exactly. Nothing blocking the sound or, or something like that, right? But no, it ends up being the ball boys. Okay, cool. I would have liked to have, maybe I'd have to go back and rewatch like this episode, the previous one, to see like how often the ball boys were shown. Because I feel like with the drum, that was something where
we looked back and it was very obvious that they did.
The drum was like, okay, that's how they're cheating, right?
I think the ball boys were definitely there. I remember a couple times, like I can go back and just look at this episode here, but I remember a couple times they would show views of the dugout and there would be players that would be there on the left side.
Okay.
But most of the view is from within the dugout.
Right.
So I think the other like kind of bigger issue is just that it's something that if you play baseball, that there's going to be ball boys, but that's not necessarily the place in my mind where they have to be. But like right here, this is a spot right here where you can see the ball boy just chilling
9:17 of episode 20. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is painfully close.
Yes.
And he's in a spot that makes sense for a ball boy to be.
Mm-hmm.
And his position looks kind of sus.
Yeah.
From the meta kind of thing.
Well, and also like if it's something where you're worried about wiretapping or just generally the other team listening in, right? Even if you don't necessarily think that the other team would have like a wiretap on their ball boys, right?
Yeah.
If you have a member of the team that's right near the person that's saying the important stuff, I feel like that would be one of the...
Well, the reason why you don't worry about it is because they can't communicate it in a fast way to the other team.
Right.
That's generally why it's okay.
Right.
It's
yeah, if they hear stuff...
who cares?
Who cares, yeah. Uh-huh.
They're not going to go and walk over or something.
Be like, hey, by the way, you said this, Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So it does hold up. They were there in a specific position there. In fact, you can even see them from the overhead view as well.
Oh.
Hanging out outside the dugout right there as well. So they're doing their setup there. But yeah, I think it's because the arc feels slower in general, that while the reveals are cool in their individual moments, I don't feel excited about them as much because the amount of time it takes to get us to the point where we can then advance the game.
I think most of the time in this arc, more so than in other arcs, while there is definitely a lot of like internal monologues or conversations about like, how do we do this? I feel like most of the conflict so far in this series has been resolved by talking more than by things that happen on the field.
True. The difference between Johnson and the Mariners really was things that those were other players that we were interacting with.
It's like, okay,
directly.
how do we beat these players versus they're doing something that kind of is completely separate from baseball, you know? It's like, we're doing our game, but we can't play our game because they're doing this thing, rather than we need to beat them at the game.
And thus it's just not as interesting.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see what the owner's thing is, because, hey, this is the end of the series, and coming up on, end of the series, but then also coming up on the end of the season. Right. Yeah. So, what he does, that'll be, I'm curious to see that. But yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.